Okay, so team, you know what you're going to be listening to in a few moments. It's all about the man who gave the gift that created the Smithsonian Institution. So, in preparation for that listening, I want to remind you about the Cornell note-taking system, which is a rather elaborate name for really quite a simple method. And I'm going to remind you what this looks like. So when you're listening, I want you to take notes as you go, just very short ones, so it doesn't get in the way of listening to the sense of the audio of the narration. And remember that this is just this column on the left that I want you to use. So it's where you make short notes, just bullet points, not whole sentences, as a kind of aide memoir, a reminder of what you've heard. And then afterwards, perhaps for your homework, you can elaborate the notes over here in this wider section. And then at the bottom, write a summary of what you've learned in 2 or 3 sentences. But that will be homework. That part will be homework. This part here on the left will be for the listening itself, which will only last about 6 minutes. So that's coming up. Okay, I just want to emphasize some key bits of vocabulary, some new words that may be new to some of you that you'll hear. 1 or 2 are a bit old-fashioned, a bit legalistic. They appear in legal documents more, but they're also referenced a lot when somebody has died and they've left a will, which is a document saying how they want their possessions to be distributed. So a will, or last will and testament, is the old-fashioned term for a will. Okay, so the words that you will hear, and we will come up into the questions again, will be bequest, will, endowment, and legacy. And they're all related to what happens to someone's possessions and their fortune, if they have a fortune, when it's distributed after their death. So a bequest is a term for a special term, a special item in a will. Usually it's financial, so it's usually money that is left to a particular individual or an organization, and that will be expressed in the will, in the document that the person who has died has left behind them. Okay, so that's bequest and will. And then endowment is another word you'll hear, and an endowment is what is normally related to how that bequest has been used afterwards. So if you make a bequest, let's say you leave a bequest of $1 million and it's given to a particular institution, like a university or a museum, then that becomes part of that institution's endowment. It's like a long-running fund that they can use to run their operations. And legacy is another term for a bequest. A legacy can be the amount of money that you've left an institution or to an individual, or it can be not money at all, but actually a wider expression of what the impact of that legacy of that gift has been. So the legacy it can be a bad legacy or it can be a good legacy. So the legacy of someone's presidency is the impact that person has had during the time as president or prime minister. All right, so there's a Kahoot activity coming up. Any questions, first of all, on that vocabulary? Fatima? Yes. Bequest and legacy, endowment, they're all very similar, just slight differences in their meaning, and that'll come up in the questions in the comprehension quiz. Okay, right. So the Kahoot activity is coming up, and in it I'll be asking you to make a prediction or two. So what is a prediction? So if the example given is James Smithson was very poor, you might say, I believe this is false because. And why might you say, I believe it's false? Ahmed. Yes. Yes. That's a good one. I believe this is false because he made a gift that was big enough to found an institution. Yeah, that's a great answer. That's a great prediction. It may or may not be true, but I think you may find it is. Okay, very good. All right, well, we're going to come up now with the next part of the lesson, which is to clarify the listening targets for this listing. So you might want to make a note in your column on the left. So one is, these are the things I want you to listen for. Who James Smithson was is number one. Two, why his bequest was unusual. Why the gift, if you like, was unusual. And three, what his legacy created. And you can answer that later in whichever way you like, whether the legacy is specific to the object that was created, or the body that was created, or whether it was something bigger than that, his impact, the long-term impact of his gift. Okay, so those are the three things. Juliet, remind us what those three things were. Yes. Who he was. Yes, who Smithson was. What his bequest was. Why his bequest was unusual. Yeah. And what was the third one? Masood? What his legacy created. That's it. Okay. All right. So heads down, listen to the audio, and I'm going to play now the audio of the author of Brits Who Shaped America reading the whole chapter of entitled An Exception Bequest. Here we go.